Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswati Deviye Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Sai Ram. Anantakoti Brahmanda Nayaka Maharajatiraj Yogiraj Parabrahma Satchitananda Bhakta Pratibalaka Samartha Sadguru Shegon Nivasi Shri Gajanan Maharaj ki Jai. Shri Gajanan Maharaj Vijaya Granth, Chapter 9. Shri Ganeshaya Namaha, Concert of Rukmini, residing by the Chandrabhaga river, playing flute and blessing the seers. You are the savior of all browbeaten. A sea of compassion spread all over. People who are great radiate in spite of pettiness around. Almighty comes into prominence, wherein the sinners abound. You are called the Savior because of us sinners. Touchstone gets importance because it turns iron into gold. River Godavari is holy because of the tributaries. O Madhav, think this over and do me a favor. Please lend me a helping hand to save me from going under. A famous devotee singing laurels to God once came to offer such prayers at Shegon. This was at Shiva's temple, which was ancient. An affluent person named Moti had renovated it. Nowadays, the rich are not fond of temples. They like cars, clubs, and bicycles. Moti was not a person of that sort. He was a keen devotee of God. He renovated the place for the people. That's how it was called Moti's temple. The singer of hymns, Govind Buvata Clicker, camped that day at this temple, tying his horse at the front entrance. The beast was very rough. It kicked people who came close. Sometimes it snapped the tied ropes. Sometimes it sprinted into the woods. It neighed day and night as per its moods. It was a package of all bad habits. Govind Bova had made a special chain to fix it, but he forgot to bring it in this visit. He got a rope and tied it in with a hope that it would not cut loose while the Buba was resting in the temple. When it was midnight and the world was plunged in the dark, when the nocturnal birds frightened all, while in search of their daily snatch, when the gates of the town were closed, and dead silence prevailed around, and not a soul was seen on the road, Saint Gajanan came to the site where the horse was tied. Saints take birth on the surface of this earth as ordained by the Creator to remove the behavior of hopeless characters, just as medication cures diseases. The saint helps remove wickedness from the misguided masses. Saint Gajanan walked to the stead and slept in that place under it indeed. He recited his favorite hymn, Ghan Ghan Ghanat Bodhe, all the time, saying, Understand always, soul and Brahma are the same. Don't you ever think that they are different entities. There are a few variations to the hymn, yet the purport is the same sublime. The horse stood still all the time. Buva was always apprehensive of what the horse would do. He often got up to check up on its tricks. When he saw the horse standing still, for a moment he thought it was ill. This was an unusual scene for Govind, as never before he saw it so tranquil. He went to the proximity with great anxiety and was astonished to see someone sleeping under the standing beast. When he carefully looked down, he saw Saint Gajanan on the ground. He could now easily decipher the reason of the horse being somber. The horse was quieted down by the saint, like the scent of musk subduing bad smell. Buba put his head on feet of the saint and said, O saint, you are really Gajanan, who removes all obstructions. I have experienced it today. People were scared of its behavior, which you have corrected in the cold this way. It has a habit of jumping and kicking while it is walking. I was fed up with it and wanted to sell it. Unfortunately, no one would buy it, not even take it for free. I am obliged to you for calming it down. Horse of a preacher like me should be as gentle as it can be. A tiger is a great danger in the shepherd's house. Thus, with the influence of Shri Gajanan, the horse gone off track came to be normal. Saint said to the horse, Leave your bad habits and turn to be gentle animal. You are standing in front of God Shiva. Behave like a humble bull. Now don't try to bother anyone. The saint went his way after correcting the horse. Next day, when he was in the garden, Buva came to see him riding his animal. People of Shegon, who knew the horse well, said, Why did you bring this horse of bad smell? It will do harm to the ladies and children. Buva said, Now the colt is sober because of the blessings of the Saint Gajanan. Its queer habits have disappeared overnight. None should now be scared of it. The horse stood free under the tree without a rope or chain. This was all due to the blessings of the saint. Fresh vegetables and green grass was around. The horse did not touch them, though it was untied. See how saints have power to change the habits and sound. Buva praised Maharaj with prayer that follows. No one in this world understands your acts. Your benediction will guide even a villain to the right path. You have the power to sense shortcomings. Please sanctify me with your kind blessings. So saying, Govind Buva left for Takli. People came to Shagon from far and near to see the saint and fulfill their desires. Among them were two Brahmins from Balapur who pledged to bring heroin on their next tour. Against the fulfillment of their wishes, they knew the saint preferred a smoke over sweets. They forgot about the heroin on their next visit. They felt shy and vowed double for the next time. Seeing them again, the saint said to Bhaskar, Look at these people's behavior. They promise something and don't recall it. They are Brahmins and should behave as they preach. That's how the caste has lost its prestige. If they owe things and forget it, how can their desires get fulfilled? They better honor their oath before asking God's blessings. The Brahmins were extremely hurt to hear this sharp remark and looked at each other with great surprise as to how the saint could fathom their intent. As they saw that the saint knew everything about the oaths and the subsequent failings, they got up to go to the market and get heroin as promised to the saint. Whereupon Gajanan's remarks were quick. Why are you crying over spilt milk? I don't have any craze for heroin, so don't run to the market in vain. Only remember one thing keep your promises to deserve God's blessings, as liars never can achieve them. Now go and get it when your desires are fulfilled. Your wish will be fulfilled next week, but remember to come here 5 times for a glimpse of God Shiva the Mighty. With his blessings, God Kuber got wealthy. Go bow down to him and do not forget to bring heroin on your visit next. One should never violate oaths made to God and saints. They accordingly bow down to God Shiva in the crowd before returning to their town. Next week, after their wishes were fulfilled, they came back with a heroin pack as per the promise which was neglected before. There is another story from Balapur. In that town lived Balakrishna, a devotee of Samarth Sri Ramadas Swami. His wife Putlabai was a pious lady. She used to visit Sajjan God on foot. The journey used to start in the month of Paush with a horse to carry their luggage consisting of a handset, dasboat, and a carpet. Their pietiness did not harbor any ego. The couple collected alms on the way. They offered food to God before they ate. It was one of their journey's traits. They used to leave Balapur town on the 9th day of Paush in the waning moon. He played sandalwood clippers and she the cymbals. On their lips they had the name of Sri Ram. They travelled to Sajjangad via Shegaon, Kamgaon, Meher, Diolgaon, Raja, then Anandi Swami's abode Jalna. Further to village Jump, birthplace of Saint Ramdas. They used to stay there for 3 days before proceeding to Divara, Beed, Mohori. The next stop was Dangon, birthplace of Kalyan, who was a devotee of Saint Ramdas. They touched Narsingapur, Pandarpur, Natepotevai, Satara, and Shingnapur before reaching Sajjangad in Magh. On the first day of the waning moon, to attend the celebrations of Magh Navami as an offering to Saint Ramadas Swami, they arranged for food for Brahmins as far as their finances could permit. It is really difficult now to find a devotee of his status in the community. After Das Navami event, they returned to Balapur the way they came. This routine continued year after year until Balakrishna reached his 60th year. At 60, when he started on the return journey, he sat near the Samadhi of the Swami. With tears in his eyes and sadness in his heart, he appealed to Saint Ramdas with a humble mind. Oh, all powerful Ramdas, my mentor and guide, I am getting old now. My age I cannot hide. Henceforth, I may not be able to walk the distance. Even coming on vehicle seems to be difficult. I have been following the routine so far, but it does not seem to be possible hereafter. As you know, good health is an essential thing in the observance of any devotional routine. Praying thus, Balakrishna fell asleep. He saw Ramdas in his dream. The saint started speaking to him. He said, Don't be distressed. You need not henceforward come to visit this place, Sajjangad. I am much pleased with your devotion. You can celebrate Navami function in your house for next year onwards. I will be there on that day. Take this as my promise. Be prudent in your expenditure. Any expenses on such functions should be within means of the devotee. Balakrishna was happy over the dream. He and his wife came back to Balapur in time. On the 1st of Magh, in his town next year, he initiated the function with a fanfare. It started with reading of Dasbodh in the morning, culminating in prayers in the evening. Food was served to Brahmins at lunchtime. At dusk, an arati was sung in good rhythm. During the celebrations all these days, one thought kept bothering Balakrishna always. When will the Swami come as promised? Will he arrive on the day specified? The villagers has contributed cash with zeal, as per devotee Balakrishna's appeal, which saw the function go galore in that small town of Balapur. On the ninth day, there was a surprise. At noon, Gajanan Maharaj appeared at the site. When Balakrishna and the gathering were offering worship to Ramachandra, the supreme being, Balakrishna was happy to see the saint. Yet at the same time, he said, he has been eagerly looking forward to the arrival of Swami as per his word. I don't believe that his promise will fail. While these thoughts were to be to the fore, Sri Gajanan stood at the door and said aloud, Jai Jai Raghuveer Samarth, a slogan in praise of God Ramachandra. He recited lines from the Psalms of Mind, saying how the touch of Rama's feet changed a rock back to Ahalya and she attained bliss. These were compositions of Ramadas. Balakrishna saw the saint reciting the lines. Standing there long, armed and bare bodied, he bowed down and looked up again and saw Ramdas in that place. Balakrishna was overwhelmed with love and affection of Ramdas in keeping up his assertions. His eyes were filled with tears of elation. A moment later, it was the saint, and then Ramadas Swami again. The appearances flipped flopped alternately, just like trick scenes in a movie. Balakrishna was bewildered and could not understand the mystery. Saint Gajanan said, Be unperturbed. I am your Ramadas Swami. I lived in Sajjan Garden in the past. Now I reside in the garden at Shegon. As per promise given to you last year, I have come to meet you here. Don't harbor any doubts in your mind. Soul remains the same while body changes. Remember what the Gita says. Come now, offer a seat to me. Sri Gajanan Maharaj held Balakrishna's hand, entered the house, and sat on the seat called Path. The news of Saint's arrival spread like wildfire. Folks flocked at the door to have a glimpse of the seer. Balakrishna adored the saint, musing over his statement. At night, Saint Ramdas appeared in his dreams and said, Saint Gajanan is my incarnation. Harbor no suspicion, it may harm you. Worshipping him will win my admiration. After seeing the dream with great respect, Balakrishna bowed down to the saint and said, You have removed all my doubts by appearing in my dream. I am now satisfied with my celebration of Navami. Please do me a favor. Stay here for a few days, which the saint did and went back to Shegon and was not seen by anyone on the way. May this treatise bring happiness to the devotees. Jai Gajanan. End of chapter 9.